You're Locked On Wild, your daily podcast on the Minnesota Wild, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into yet another live edition of Locked On Wild. We call this, though, What the Hell Are You Smoking? And we're with you here on a Wednesday night. Myself, Denny, also here as well. And Denny, without further ado, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, to start the show, thanks everybody for tuning in, number one. And I have to tell you, because it's only fair to you that you know what's going on with me. Last Sunday show I couldn't do because I got another attack of neuropathy. And if anybody knows about neuropathy, it's hell. And 2 days, I didn't sleep at all. And I'm also fighting cancer. And every month, it's a new day for me, or every day is, when you have cancer, it's hell on the mind. And every month I go in for a checkup, and so far I've been lucky. But I know the day is coming when they're going to say, that's it. So that's what I deal with every month. Other than that, I'm doing good. The attacks are over for now, because I normally have about one a month, and that's how it is. And I just want to thank everybody for showing up, because, the show means the world to me. And this week we had an historic show. We had 3,900 views with Isha and Seth. 3,900. It's unbelievable how fast our show is growing. And it's really amazing. And they have Alexis just start her first show. And as you can tell, boy, she's a buzzsaw. You get her going, she just keeps going. She kind of reminds me of Kevin Gord. She's a hell of a talent and a welcome addition.
Yeah, those are going to be fun all PWHL season.
Yes. And of course, we're still working on the high school gig, but I wish we could tell you who we're talking to, but we can't yet. But he is the best analyst for high school hockey there is. And of course, I'm going to be doing a show once a week on the Iowa Wild. And, things are coming together. This is going to be one fun ride this year. The dog days of hockey are just about over. Because, coming up with content right now is a tough thing to do. Everybody is, I don't care what show you're on, except for Soda Pod. They got everybody. We get nobody to speak of. Things are going to be fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. Also doing some reviews for the Wild games afterwards. That's going to be a lot of fun too. But 3,900 views in such a short time is amazing, and that's all thanks to you guys. And it's a heartfelt thanks. We both were flabbergasted, really. So, that being said, I always try to tell you something about me in my past life, and this one is about the Minnesota Kicks. I don't know if any of you are soccer fans, but I was a huge Minnesota Kicks fan. And I don't remember what year it was. Back in the 80s, though, the Kicks had just beat the Houston Aeros 2-0. It's 4th of July weekend, and they're having a big 4th of July celebration after the game, which we won 2-0. And I didn't know this, but I was there with a couple girls, and we went out on the field to lay down and watch the fireworks show. Well, apparently that wasn't permitted. So we're laying down there, and I had a small bottle of Jack, and I don't know what the girls are drinking, but we're all having a good time. I mean, that was Minnesota Kicks way. And all of a sudden, I see all these security guards coming at us. And the girls started screaming and going crazy. I got up. When they got to me, I just took off. I went down the field. I went back up the field and back down the field. I mean, we're talking 300 yards. And I had like 30 guards trying to catch me, and everybody's going everybody. I put the moves on. And at the end of the thing, they all jumped on me. I was just too tired to go any further. And they all said at the end, God, you could run. I mean, they didn't do nothing to me other than take me off the field. And I got to stand because the place was packed. I got standing ovation, which is really cool. And I found out later that they made a clip on it for some kind of class, and somebody told me about it, which is cool because I love the Minnesota Kicks, boy. That was a great time of my life. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about Boldy, Kaprizov, Rossi, and Faber, and Zuccarello. And, Seth just had his show where the points up or points down. Well, I'm putting 80 plus. Boldy is a beast, and he's only getting better. The only thing he needs to work on really is his two-way game a little bit, and that comes with learning and experience. And he's a stud, and he's going to be in the fold for a very long time. And with Eck, I got him at 75 points this year. He had 64 last year, and I definitely expect a jump. He gets better every year. Excellent two-way game. He's very good in front of the net. And I expect nothing but improvement from him. Every year he improves, so why would it change now? And for Kaprizov, last year he had 96 points, but the first month was really just getting his legs back because he couldn't work out. This year I expect at least 60 goals, 60 assists, 120 points. I initially had it higher, but after thinking about it, that was a little unrealistic. But I really think 120 points is very realistic for him this year. As for Rossi, all the talk about he's not on board with the team, or at least Guerin doesn't know if he wants him long term. The kid's a stud. If he would have had a couple shooters last year, he would have had 30, 40 goals. This year, I expect him to get at least 30. And they're talking about moving Zuccarello back up to the first line and dropping Boldy down to the second to help Rossi out, which it makes sense in a couple of different ways. Rossi and Boldy had 14 games where they had at least 1 point each in the Iowa Wild system before Boldy got called up. So they do have some familiarity playing together, and they had good chemistry. So I can see where that makes sense, but I don't understand breaking up the best line in the NHL.
But
we'll see how it goes.
Did you see my my nugget for the Matt Boldy show in regards to that proposition? Listen to this.
Tell me.
Listen to this. So expected goals for Matt Boldy, Joel Eriksson Ek, and Kirill Kaprizov was 22.7. 22.7.
Wow.
Remember that number. And the expected goals for per 60 minutes, 3.63.
That's phenomenal.
With the Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello, and I'm just going to use it as an example because they don't really have numbers with Liam Ogren didn't, I don't think, have any time with Matt Boldy and Joel Eriksson-Ek last year. I'm using Johansson because it's easy to prove my point. I don't want him to be in that spot, but I'm just doing this to prove a point.
Right.
So 22.7 expected goals for Boldy, Eriksson-Ek, and Kaprizov. Kaprizov, Hartman, Zuccarello, Boldy, Eriksson-Ek, Johansson. Those two line combinations didn't hit that combined.
There you go.
So my point has been all along is you have this line combination that I think has the potential to keep you in just about every game. And I guess I would just use the opportunity to find somebody to take that second line spot while keeping that combination together. Because then all of a sudden you can go from combined about, what was the number for those two? 16.2 with that top six compared to whatever Liam Ogren or whoever would bring in that as part of that Boldy, Eriksson-Ek or Rossi Zuccarello line. Like you could end up having a top six that's like a 34 to 35 expected goals. So it just mathematically, it just makes way more sense to keep that combination together.
My sentiments exactly. You know, they on Judd's show, they're talking about they're putting Zugs back up on the top line and trying to protect them. You don't protect top line players if they haven't earned it. Down the road they go. And Zugs, as we all know, last year, the last half of the season, he only had 5 goals on even play. That's terrible for a first or a second liner. You know, he's had a hell of a career, but age has caught up with him. He's now at best a fourth liner, in my opinion. The reason it didn't work last year and they demoted him to second line is because he wasn't producing. Well, he didn't do any better with Rossi. I mean, he was passing up open shots and passing the puck off it, and that's not a good sign. It means he's lost his confidence or whatever, but he's not a second-line player anymore. He's had a hell of a career, but at best, he's a fourth liner now. And I find it hilarious because on Judd's show, they had their regression picks. And Judd had a point where he said that they're going to trade Zugs to New York in March to a contending team for a cup. Well, let me ask you this. What team would want a fourth-line player, even if they love him? It doesn't matter. He wouldn't even be a fourth-line player in the Rangers. So why would the Rangers take him? To me, that's hilarious.
Well, and I know, like, I'm going to throw something out here as a media person because I know this is a common thing that other people try to do is I think too often we try to project what we think the team is going to do.
Yep.
I mean, it's a nice thought. I don't think Bill Guerin is ever going to get to the point where he looks to trade him.
Well, I don't think his play is going to merit anybody taking him. That's the deal.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's at the point that they would maybe say, hey, you've clearly lost a step. Like, let's maybe look at doing something here to finish off your career. It's going to be to the point that, I don't know, anybody going to really take a bite of that?
I don't think so. This is his last year, and when the start of the second half started, I mean, his play just fell off dramatically. You know, Zugs, one of his best attributes, which nobody really talks about, was his tenacity. when he would lose the puck, he would fight like hell to get it back. And he kind of lost that. And I think that's, age catching up with him. I mean, you can't say nothing bad about him. He had a hell of a career with us and with Rangers and Dallas too.
Well,
But,
everybody's time comes. Everybody's time comes. There is not a single player. There's not a single player in the history of sports that has just kept playing. At some point, everybody plays their final game and their skills start to diminish. And the final 29 games of the season, Matt Zuccarello had 2 goals, even strength, and 11 total points, even strength. He had 2 power play goals and 13 power play assists or power play points in that span. But even strength, he had 2 goals and 11 total points in the final 29 games that he played.
Those are fourth line numbers, period. If that. And now they're going to try and protect him.
This is something I hadn't considered either, because you look at the fourth line guys that were on the roster last year.
Yep.
He was better than those numbers, but now you're getting to the point. Now you're getting to the point where you're going to start introducing players into the conversation that are not Jake Lucchini, that are not Vinny Lettieri, that are not Mason Shaw, to where, like, if you have players like Liam Ogren, like Riley Heidt, like Danila Yurov, they need to be occupying those spots, because they just, where they're at right now is going to be a better spot than where Matt Zuccarello will be at 37. Even if he does stay through the entirety of this year and decides to come back for another season next year. Like, it's just that's the reality of the situation, is that those players are just, they're going to be better at that point.
Well, my thoughts on playing the kids, and this is the perfect time to put them in. For my lines, I got Ek, Boldy, Kaprizov. I got Rossi with Ogren and Height. And what better time to play them than now? Because the lines that they're putting up, I got them ranked 28th in the league. And I hate to say it, but old and slow is old and slow. And Billy doesn't seem to grasp that yet. He's still thinking that 1980s hockey is today, and speed and skill rules. You got to have some grit, of course, but if you don't have the talent, it doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere. Now is the perfect time to play the kids, as I keep saying. But we all know that's not happening. He's going to stick with Billy's boys, and, the first 20 games is really going to tell the tale. And that's when I expect big changes to happen, because last show I told you, I expect us to go 6-14, 5-15, somewhere in that range. And, time for Judd Brackett to take over. Smooth transition, make him the GM. Billy sit back and just relegate everything. Where are we at now? I lost track. Rossi. I expect Rossi to hit around 65 points this year. He's only the second person in Wild history as a rookie to score 20 or more goals, Kaprizov being the first. And why they don't think he's in the fold is beyond me, because he's a stud. His two-way game is way ahead. I mean, I would stick him out there in any situation. Defensively, he knows what he's doing out there. And he has the puck handling skills, and he can skate. So, he's got the whole package. And why anybody doesn't think he's in the fold is beyond me, because he's just getting better and better and better. And 65 points, I don't think is too much to ask of him this year, especially if they put Boldy on his line. But if they put the kids on his line, it's going to be better than that, because all three are shooters, all can skate. It just makes for a perfect combination. But of course, that makes too much sense. I have a feeling that Mojo is going to be on the second line again. And they think because he's in the contract year that he's going to be, yeah, he may try a little harder. But I've lost all respect for Mojo. He took the year off. He's not on my team, period. And then they talked about, on Judge Show, they talked about, Jesse said that Faber is going to take a step back. Now, think about this for a moment. He played the last 2 months of the season with broken ribs. Now, I've had broken rib before. It hurts to breathe. And for him to be out playing hockey with 2 broken ribs, well, they must have filled him up with lidocaine to begin with, plus whatever pain pills they deem necessary. But, when you're playing with 2 broken ribs, I can't even believe he played, let alone play as well as he did. Yeah, he had a drop off the second half, but how many people would be playing with 2 broken ribs in any sport? None. The kid's got heart. He's a good old Minnesota boy. I like it. And I really think he's going to be up in the, let's see, where do I got him at? I think he's 15 goals, 40 assists, somewhere in that area. 65 points seems reasonable now that he's fully healthy. Because the first half of the season, he was on fire. When he broke his ribs, which we didn't know about, is when the drop-off came. Well, of course you're going to have a drop-off. Broken ribs are broken ribs. I don't care. I can't even believe he played. And let's see, where else we at here? Did I do Eck? With Eck, I got him at 75 points this year. He had 64 last year. He only gets better. I think I've already talked about it. Let's move on here. Faber, done. Rossi, done. Kaprizov, done. Eck, done. Boldy, done. All right. That's all I'm doing for the review on our top players for now. Now I want to talk about coaching up and coaching down and what a difference it makes. And I'm going to use Freddie Goudreau as my example. With Dino Evison, he had a spot on the team. He knew what his position was and played pretty good. I mean, he wasn't excellent, but he was a good player. He was a sniper in the shootouts, and he had his position, and he knew what he was supposed to do. When Hines came in, that all ended immediately. I mean, I think, 1 or 2 games, and he was down 4th line. Well, what happens it's all in the mind. All of a sudden, he doesn't have a position on the team. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do. He's pissed off because he didn't deserve it in his mind, no matter what. So his lack of play really showed up. I mean, everybody said that he was hurt. Well, if he was that hurt, he shouldn't have been playing in the first place. Obviously, he is well enough to play, but that's where coaching up and coaching down comes up, because with Evison, he coached him up and he did a good job. I mean, Freddie was a 10-goal scorer with Pittsburgh, and he was a 10-goal scorer with us, and then he went up a little bit. With John, he had no place on the team. He didn't know what his position was, what he's supposed to be doing. That's coaching down. And that's a big deal when you think about it, because I think Freddie is not nearly as bad as he showed last year, but he lost his position. And when you lose your confidence in hockey, because confidence is a big part of how you play. If you don't think you can do it, you're not going to do it. And when you get demoted like he did, and you have no place on the team, well, your place speaks for itself. So I think it's much better for Freddie to ask for a trade and get a shot with somebody who will play him, because we know under Hines that's not happening. I mean, he may, but I don't have much faith in Hines. His whole deal is just playing the old regulars, old and slow, Billy's boys, as I call them, as you know. And, he needs a fresh start somewhere else, because he's not that bad a player as he showed last year. And if he was that hurt, he should have been playing, period. So that's coaching up and coaching down. What else we got, Seth?
Did you want to go through the Minnesota Wild head coaches throughout their history?
Oh, sure. Well, we've had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coaches, I believe. And in my opinion, Boudreaux was very good at mixing up the lines and changing on the fly. And he did that to see if he could, get a little edge here and there, which is good coaching. Boudreaux's problem was that he kept sticking the same 3 out on the overtimes, who were old and slow at that time, which was Suter and Parisi, and who else was the third that he always stuck out there for the starting?
I would imagine.
And it never worked out.
Koivu?
Yeah, maybe Koivu. Yeah, I'm sure Koivu played some, but
that would fit the pattern.
He always had his set line. Yeah. And when you got 3 and 3, you got open ice. You want speed and skill, not old and slow. And Boudreaux he would never change it. Of course, our record in overtime was terrible. I think we won 2 games maybe out of 7 or 8. And that was why. Jacques, who I consider, he's probably the best coach we've had. When he took over, the Wild didn't have hardly any talent at all. And, because we got the bottom from every team. And he devised the trap, of which he won the cup with in New Jersey. And the reason that Gabby left the Wild was not because he didn't like the team or anything. He didn't like the style of play. He wanted to be a run and gun, and that's why he went to L.A. It didn't matter what they told him. He wanted to play run and gun, and Jacques' game was the trap, because he didn't have the talent, which they found out afterwards when he did retire. They didn't have much talent, and what he did was phenomenal. So Jacques gets my vote for the best coach the Wild have had so far. And Todd Richards, he had a .518 winning percentage. He wasn't a real people person, though. And I don't think he could deal.
He looked like a mob guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he dealt real well with the club. He was very stiff. And I don't think it just didn't work out, because he didn't have the rapport you need with your players. And that ultimately got him canned. The same with Mike Yeo. Same thing. He didn't have any rapport. He was a pretty decent coach. Had a .559 winning percentage, but he didn't do anything in the playoffs. And he just didn't have the rapport. I mean, he went to, where was it, St. Louis after here? And the team played real well for a while, and then they just quit on him, just like what happened here. And, of course, Dino, his way or the highway, his biggest deficit was he would never change anything. And it's real easy for a coach to see what you're doing and make minor changes. to offset what he's doing. And ultimately, the players quit playing for him. And that's why I said way back before the season started that he'd be fired before the All-Star break, because they just quit on him. They didn't want to play for him no more. They didn't like what he was doing. And the only way a player can show his attitude about what's going on is to quit playing. Just like when Boldy started out, what was it, 19 games with 1 goal? What was it? What was the record there?
Yeah, it was 19 games. He didn't. I don't think he
Yeah.
played all 19 because he did get hurt at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but still, he had 1 goal in 19 games.
Yeah.
That kind of says it all. He did not have a good rapport with Dino, as most of the players did. That's why he got fired. John Hines, another of Billy's boys. He got fired in Nashville because he wouldn't play the kids, and that's how we got Fiala. If you think back about it, we traded, oh, God, who's the Swedish kid? Granlund, Marcus Granlund. We traded Granlund to Tennessee for Fiala. And they thought that was just a steal. Well, look how that turned out. John Hines wouldn't give him a chance. We did, and look what happened. Hines, he has no faith in the kids. And actually, he's in a position now, he has to play the kids, and he won't. So I don't see his tenure here being much longer. You know, the first 20 games will tell the tale. And hopefully, Billy will give Judd Brackett his rightly due, because Judd Brackett is just gold. We've never had a better talent evaluator. If you look at our top 10 now, that's all Judd Brackett boys. They're fast, they got a lot of skill, and they're ready to go. They just need a chance. Of course, I don't expect that to happen because it makes too much sense. You know, and right now, of course, everything can change before the start of the season and what they do. But right now, I got it ranked 28th in the league. I got us fighting for last place with Dallas and St. Louis. And actually, I think St. Louis is probably better than both. Is better than the Wild and Dallas. Or just lost my train of thought.
St. Louis Blues.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago. Those three are going to be fighting for the bottom. Unless he makes changes. We'll see how it goes. You know, we got the St. Louis All-Star coming up here. And I tried to go to I asked if I could go and as a reporter for Locked On Wild. And no, it's top secret. Nobody could watch. But St. Louis is going to show how much talent we have. You know, everybody, Corey Proman has us ranked, 9th or 10th in the league, and he's got Chicago up there because of Bedard, of course. But nobody has the talent that we do, and St. Louis is going to show it. And I expect to see Riley Heidt shine, as he does everywhere. Is Wallstead playing?
No. Nope.
No.
I think he's graduated above playing in this sort of a thing. But he was not one of the goalies that was on the list.
Yeah. Wallstead isn't listed on the team yet. I don't know what they're doing with him. I can tell you this, signing Flower was a mistake. He's taken Wallstead's spot. Wallstead has nothing to learn in Iowa. As you know, I think he's a generational talent. He's going to be with us for the next 10 years, and I expect him to get a couple best goals for the year. He's that good. And I know you're going to say it's only been a couple of games. Yeah, it's only been a couple of games. Wait till he gets to play. And I'm telling you, kid's just talented as hell. He's so smooth. He's got quick reflex. He plays the angles. I mean, everything you want from a goalie, he does exceptionally well at. He just needs his chance. And this thing with doing a 3 goalie, that's a joke. 3 goalies don't work, period. It pisses everybody off. It's been tried before, and it's never been successful. So Billy has to, he has to ask Flower to retire or something and just make him a coach, because I know they want him as a mentor. Well, make him a mentor coach, because Wallstead deserves a shot. And after 20 games, hopefully that's what we're going to see, because things don't look good for us. And I hate to say it, because my passion and love for the Wild is, it's what I live for, is hockey. I just want to see a cup before I die. Right now, it's not looking that good. Is there any questions for anybody?
Couple comments, and if you want to throw a question into the chat, feel free to do so. I'll start with Hoptics, because this is a good opportunity to kind of rehash this. He said,
Okay.
I think we should get rid of Freddie's contract any way possible and give someone trying to make the team those fourth line minutes, like Graham Clark, Jacob Loco, or even potentially Sammy Walker. Freddie may bounce back somewhere else. We've talked about the buyout previously.
Yep.
If we were to buy Freddie out, it would cost the Wilds
700,000, 800,000,
like 630K for from 2028 through 2032. And I think at that point, I think the Parise Suter buyouts are even fully off the books.
Yep.
At that point.
Next year's the year. Well, as you know, I don't like Freddie at all, and I explained why. And I know probably a lot. I think what has merit about how John treated Freddie, and it shows in his play. I think he'd be much better off with another team, and hopefully he sees that, and will ask for a trade, because you're right. We need the kids in here, and I really like to take a good look at Clark. I haven't seen him play yet, so I don't want to comment on him. But he was a stud in New Jersey system, and he's a Minnesota boy, which I really like. I just hope that Merrill, Bogle, Freddie are all gone soon. Let the kids play. I keep saying it, but really, it's their time. And hopefully John Hines will see that. And if he doesn't, then it's time to move on from him. And I think Todd Nelson should be highly considered. He wins everywhere he goes. He reminds me of Don Cooper in Tampa. They wouldn't give Don a chance anywhere, and finally got a chance with Tampa, and look what he did with them. Probably the best coach in the NHL. Then I also hired Don Granato, because he's very good at coaching up kids. What he did in Buffalo was extremely impressive. And fresh look, fresh start, but we still have plenty of time to make the playoffs. So I hope you're listening, Billy. Don Granato, Todd Nelson, and whoever they pick. Restart.
Trav's pick, David Carl of Denver.
Yeah, he brings up a good point there. He does nothing but win, too. But Todd Nelson deserves a chance before Carl, I think. Todd Nelson has won how many cups down in I think he's won 3 or 4. Yeah, 2 straight, but he just keeps winning down there with the kids. Was it Wilton Scrambarrel or
Hershey Bears?
Hershey Bears, that's it. Yeah, he just keeps winning. So I would pick him, although bringing Carl on would be a good assistant coach. I could see that happen. I like that idea, actually. What else we got?
That was it for the notable comments. A lot of agreement with everything that you said on the show tonight. Jason says Marat Huznadinov is going to show out this year.
Yep.
Like that.
I believe it.
Jay is hoping that Eck wins 50% of his faceoffs. He can only stay in the 49 percentile range. He can't stay in the 49 percentile range for much longer, because I think he finished this previous season at 49.7. And if we go with,
he only keeps getting better.
If we go with the incremental improvement, then that's going to get him into 50% this next season. Just
you
based
go.
on how he's gone. So I would expect that will be just fine. What else do we have here? Oh, here's a good one from Creepy Colors. He said, I know the live show didn't have the turnout, but I definitely felt like I was part of something special, and I'll be able to say I was here from the beginning.
Well, thank you, Creepy Colors. Because, we really do appreciate that everybody comes on. And as you know, we're the only show that responds to your comments and questions. Not Soda Pod, not Bar Down Beauties, and certainly not Judd's. We're our first. And actually, we have a lot of firsts coming up this year as we're climbing up the ladder. And say again how impressed I am with 3,900 views. We're on the board and people are taking notice because a lot of those views came from Canada.
A lot of angry Edmonton fans.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable, the turnout we got on that. With that, I think it's time to close shop for the night. Again, for my last parting, it's what the hell are you smoking? This week, I got Corey Prom for last week for putting Riley Heidt at 16. Does that really, I don't even know how he can merit that. I'm absolutely certain he's never watched him play. But for that, he gets my what the hell are you smoking, because he doesn't have a clue on that one. And for this week's show, I'm going with Judd on what the hell are you smoking for saying that they're trading Zuggs to the New York Rangers in March. I'd like to know what you're smoking that came up with that. That's unbelievable. And with that, that's the end of the show, folks.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here tonight. Sunday night, right, is the next one?
Yep. In fact, almost all the shows from here out will be Sunday nights because the Vikings are at noon or 3 just about the whole season.
Yeah, so that should time out pretty perfect. And then, when we get into Wild season, if there are Sunday games, then we'll
change it.
We'll move things around accordingly.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. And I'm going to be the next couple of days. I'm going to be camping in the southern part of the state. But I'm recording the 2 episodes for the rest of the week tonight. So there will be normal episodes tomorrow and Friday. And then we'll have the show on Saturday too. So enjoy the rest of your week. I am just hoping that nothing major breaks while I'm not at home. But I guess we'll wait and see.
Cheers, everybody. See you next week.